So, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about Comic-Con. So, what is the experience of going to San Diego and New York Comic-Con the first time and getting up there and addressing your people?
It's wild. I'm trying to remember the first time I was on a panel at New York Comic-Con. Oh God, I genuinely cannot remember now because my first New York Comic-Con was 2008, I think, because I moved to New York the summer of 2007, and I think the first time I went to New York Comic-Con was 2008. And I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like it was when it was in February or something. So I've been going to a Comic-Con for a very, very long time. My first San Diego was 2018, and it was so different from New York. It was so I was so stressed out the whole time because New York Comic-Con is very localized. It is at the Javits Center. It's spilled over a little bit now into another building, but for the most part, it stays at the Javits Center. It doesn't go anywhere else. San Diego Comic-Con is the entire thing. It's every part of San Diego that you're in is touched by Comic-Con, and I found that to be so overwhelming. But it's also really cool when you're just oh, everyone here is as nerdy as I am. That's awesome. And it's cool when you are on a panel that is something you're passionate about. So I've been on the Super Asian American panel a couple of times, which is largely talking about Asian American representation in pop culture. And what's great is when those rooms are packed because people care about wanting to have more inclusive media is kind of some of the best feelings in the world when you're oh, people do care. It's not 4 people sitting in this room waiting for the panel that comes after it.
Well, you've got to be, any panel you do there, you've got to be facing a full room full of how many people?
It depends on what room you're in. Sometimes it's always a lot because they pack those rooms in pretty tight. But it's so funny because I can remember going to see Neil Gaiman read from the Graveyard Book in 2008 or 9. I don't remember which year it was. And there was no line. I was in the third row or something. It was so easy to get into that room. And I think about what that would be like now and having to line up 3 or 4 hours in advance or whatever it was. Because there are just so many more people going. I think if you look at the attendee numbers have risen exponentially every year. It's wild. So I guess just by nature of the number of people, yeah, every panel is probably pretty full.
Fair enough.